I welcome the opportunity to lead this evening's debate on Eating Disorders Awareness Week, which took place last week, 26th of February, March the 3rd. The theme of Eating Disorders Awareness Week 2024 is Avoidance Restrictive Food Intake Disorder, also known as ARFID. This is largely an unknown and misunderstood eating disorder. It can have serious consequences for health if left untreated. And the number of people affected by ARFID is unknown, and treatment is not currently available nationwide, with many people with ARFID reporting difficulty in accessing treatment and support both in Scotland and across the whole of the UK. And I'll come back to this later, Presiding Officer. One of the things I want to start by thanking colleagues across Chamber who have supported my motion allowing this debate to go ahead this evening. And I also want to thank Eating Disorders charity BEAT for the excellent work that they continue to do to support those at risk of or those who are living with an eating disorder. This includes supporting family and friends. Presiding Officer, around 1.25 million people across the UK and about 1 in 50 people here in Scotland currently live with an eating disorder, and the numbers have increased during the COVID-19 pandemic. Types of eating disorders include binge eating disorder, bulimia, anorexia, other specified feeding or eating disorders, which is also known as OSFED, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, and that's what we are discussing today. Another very dangerous eating disorder is diabulimia, and this occurs when people with type 1 diabetes deliberately omit their insulin to control their weight. Eating disorders have high mortality rates, with anorexia having the highest mortality rate of any mental illness, and 1 in 6 people with a binge eating disorder have reported trying to end their life. People with eating disorders typically develop severe physical health problems, and overall quality of life has been estimated to be as low as in symptomatic coronary heart disease or severe depression. With early intervention, many people become unable to participate in education or employment. However, recovery is possible. Access to the right treatment and support is life-changing, and early intervention provides the best chance of recovery. The key symptoms of eating disorders include excessively worrying about weight and body shape, avoiding social situations where food may be involved, frequently visiting the toilet after meals for prolonged periods, and not even being upfront about the food a person may be consuming. It is important for family members, friends and colleagues to be aware of these signs. However, research has shown that there is a link between eating disorders and depression, low confidence and low self-esteem. But today I want to specifically describe again this year's theme, ARFID. ARFID is a condition characterised by the person avoiding certain foods or types of food, having restricted intake in terms of the overall amount eaten or both. BEAT has experienced an increase in requests for support for people living with ARFID, and one of the people impacted by ARFID, Harriet, summed up the impact of ARFID when she said, and here's her quote, "A lot of people thought I was just being picky, and friends would often get very offended when I went round to their houses for dinner and I wouldn't eat anything. Less than 5 people outside my immediate family knew about my condition, and when I explained it wasn't to do with losing weight, but it was because of anxiety." She was told to get over it. So, and this example from Harriet shows exactly why we do need to put the spotlight on ARFID, so people are aware of it, and so we can break down the stigma and support people to access treatment. People with ARFID can be of any age. ARFID is linked with anxiety, ADHD and autism also. People with ARFID may be sensitive to taste, texture, smell or appearance of food, or even the temperature of the food in front of them. So, Presiding Officer, in March 2021, the Scottish Government completed a National Eating Disorder Service Review. The National Eating Disorder Service Review includes a total of 15 ambitious recommendations focused on ensuring all of those affected by eating disorders receive timely and appropriate care and support. These recommendations include better coordination of national activity and data collection, and the national availability of self-help resources which should be available to everyone at any stage of life in Scotland, and a focus on early diagnosis with the aim of prevention. It is welcome that the implementation group was set up to review the timescales and cost of implementation of the recommendations, and that 3 subgroups were created: a training group, a standards group and a data group. And one of the key policy asks of BEAT is that for the 15 recommendations to be implemented in full. So I would therefore be grateful if the Minister, in her response, could provide an update on the implementation of these recommendations and comment on when they will be implemented in full. Presiding Officer, my office contacted NHS Dumfries and Galloway ahead of this debate and specifically spoke with the dietetic team. The team has a specific dietitian who works and focuses with those people living with or at risk of developing eating disorders. I heard that because of the rurality of Dumfries and Galloway, some people who are at risk of developing an eating disorder may not be picked up as easily or may be reluctant to access support because of the travel involved in attending appointments, but also because of the stigma around eating disorders, which many people report they feel ashamed to even access treatment and support. So while this situation has improved through the move to virtual appointments, that there still exists an issue, though, that people rurally in accessing eating disorder support services. We need to continue to support that. So I would ask that the Minister ensures that rural areas are included in the approach moving forward. I would also press on the Scottish Government to ensure that as part of the mental health stigma reduction strategy that eating disorders are included and that all possible action is taken to combat eating disorder stigma. Presiding Officer, anyone with an eating disorder who thinks they may be at risk of one can access judgment-free support from BEAT. These helplines are free to call from all phones. Anyone affected by an eating disorder can call, email or contact BEAT's helpline advisors via one-to-one web chat. This includes families, carers and anyone else who provides support to someone with an eating disorder. People can call the following number: 0808 801 0432 or email BEAT at scotlandhelp@beateatingdisorders.org.uk. The helplines are open from 3 to 8, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Presiding Officer, in conclusion, I appreciate the opportunity to again lead this important debate. I reiterate my ask of the Minister for further detail on when the recommendations of the review group will be implemented. And I also again thank BEAT Eating Disorders and all the NHS staff across Scotland for the vitally important work that they do each day. And I look forward to hearing the contributions from other members this evening. Thank you.